Hello, and welcome to our presentation on the Corporate Sustainability Assessment of Nikon. First, an introduction to Nikon. Nikon is a Japanese multinational corporation with a worldwide presence. It is specialized in imaging products, precision equipment, healthcare, components, and industrial metrology. It offers DSLR cameras and just introduced its first mirrorless camera. We now move on to Nikon's potential for sustainable transition. Nikon has had financial losses over the past years and is in the process of restructuring its business model. Essentially, this reorganization is oriented towards Nikon's financial survival in the competitive market. Its first priority here is making profits. But through this reorganization, Nikon aims to transition to a more sustainable economic model. Here we can see that sustainable transition is more of a side goal than a first priority.
So for this analysis, we decided to focus on three main areas. This was based on what Nikon said to be important based on what SDGs they selected, which was 9, 8, and 12, as well as their materiality matrix and what they said to be the most material ESG issue, as well as what we saw Nikon had the most impact in, and those areas were selected for our analysis. After looking into the sustainability report by Nikon, we have some final research conclusions, some positive and some negative. For the positive aspects, Nikon has a very systematic approach to communicating and presenting their data. They also report in accordance with most GRI and IR standards in principles. They also meet their science-based targets on emission reduction and energy use, so those are the positive aspects. For the negative aspects, the stakeholders remain very insufficiently addressed in the reporting. The integrated report is low degree of connectivity between the financial and non-financial topics. They do not have a concrete strategy to address the possible rebound of emission, especially in Scope 3, since the Scope 3 emissions were reduced due to low sales due to the pandemic, but they expect that to increase again, but they do not have a concrete strategy to address those Scope 3 increased emissions. And the human rights issues are not transparent or strict enough as we see it, and they do not have much effort to address electronic waste. They could do better in, for example, reuse strategies.
The recommendations for Nikon are to better include and report on stakeholders by being more specific about their role in sustainability. Another recommendation is to create more connectivity between financial and non-financial topics in the IR report. Other recommendations are to reduce the impact of electronic waste by creating a system for second-hand cameras, create stricter standards to safeguard human rights along the value chain, and to utilize external tools to create more transparent targets. Finally, it is recommended to create a concrete strategy to address potential Scope 3 emissions.